Margir hafa lýst yfir andúð á þeirri fyrirætlan Orkuveitu Reykjavíkur að selja þriðjungshlut sinn í HS Orku til kanadíska orkufyrirtækisins Magma Energy og hafa skorað á stjórnvöld að halda hlutnum í opinberri eigu. Forstjóri Magma þvertekur fyrir að vera gráðugur atvinnufjárfestir sem ætla að komast yfir íslenskar orkuauðlindir á ódýran hátt nú þegar illa árar í samfélaginu. Hann og Ísland eigi bæði að hafa hag af kaupunum langa framtíð. Þóra Arnórsdóttir fór yfir málið með Ross Beatty í dag.
Welcome, Mr. Beatty.
Thank you.
First of all, I'd just like to ask you what sparked your interest in Iceland and to invest here?
Magma Energy is a relatively young company, but we have a focus of trying to build the world's preeminent geothermal energy company. It means the biggest and it means the best. You can say this is a bit of a dream, and it's true. It's a dream today, but I have already done this with another company. In 1994, I began a silver company from nothing with the objective of building the biggest silver company in the world. And after 14 or 15 years of hard work, we achieved this in 2007. The company Pan American Silver is a $3 billion company. It's in fantastic condition. We operate 8 mines in 5 countries. The company has 7,000 employees. It's been a great building experience for me, and I'm now trying to do the same thing in geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is a wonderful form of electricity. It's sustainable, it's clean, it's just a great business for me. I am actually quite a strong environmentalist, and I think this is a very good thing for me to be doing with my life now, to build a great company in geothermal energy. It's good for the world. In this business of geothermal energy, Iceland is a real leader. Iceland has fantastic resources. It's right on the mid-Atlantic ridge, as you know. It's generating a fantastic amount of electricity potential through the geothermal heat that comes here. And so if you're trying to build the world's biggest and best company, you go to where the great resources are. Indonesia, Philippines, United States, South America, and Iceland. So I came here in January this year looking for opportunities. And really from that moment when I came to Iceland for the first time, I kind of fell in love with the country. I have huge regard for the Icelandic people. They're smart, they're hardworking, they're just lovely people to deal with. The country is beautiful as well, of course. It kind of reminds me of northern Canada. And I just felt that there was a good opportunity for me to grow here. I looked at a number of opportunities in the geothermal sector in Iceland. Things that had existing production were of more interest to me than raw exploration prospects. And I looked at HS Orca, and it has everything. It has existing production, it's a tremendous plant, existing production, and it has great opportunity for growth. Plus, it's in rather difficult condition. It needs a much stronger balance sheet, and I thought this was something we could actually add some value. That's why I was attracted to HS Orca as an opportunity, and Geistra Green Energy as well.
Was it just an idea that you got and you bought a ticket to Iceland, or can you explain to us the role of Glacier Partners in this?
Yes, no, it wasn't nearly that simple. Of course, if you're looking for opportunities, you want to try to understand the best situations in any place you work. So I actually met the Glacier Partners people. These are Magnus B. Arneson, for example, and his team. It's a tremendous team of advisors. I asked them to work with me to help me look for opportunities in Iceland, and this is where we ended up. We looked at a number, and that was kind of where we focused on something that, with some time and some discussion, there might be an opportunity to not buy. What we're trying to do here is not to buy something. It's not like a foreign investor coming to buy a factory and operate it for a while, then maybe shut it down and leave. I'm trying to build a company here that's going to live beyond my lifetime. It's going to be a really great, world-class company.
You do realize in what kind of atmosphere you're entering. The nation feels betrayed after the collapse of the financial system and the banking system. There is a great lack of trust. The whole nation feels like the victim of a Ponzi scheme. So it's maybe not strange that you'll be seen as a kind of a predator that comes to Iceland when we're vulnerable and weak, try to get our energy at a low price and then to sell it out at a huge profit. So, I mean, you can't really be surprised that you'll be seen that way, at least in the beginning.
Sure, it's a kind of understandable reaction for a lot of people, and that's one of the reasons it's important for me to come here and explain who I am, what we're doing. I have a very open record. I've been in business for 25 years with public companies. I've started a number of companies. They've all been successful. I have a really great reputation, if I can say that, for creating real value for shareholders and really doing cooperative things. I'm very proud of my record for 25 years working with communities, winning environmental awards for our companies, working with governments, being a really, really responsible corporate citizen, having tremendous social responsibility as well as business responsibility. And this is my record that you can see. Anybody who Googles me or who reads the material that has been written over the last 15 or 20 years of my career will see that I'm not here to exploit anything. I'm not here for the short term. I'm here for the long term. We're not interested in pulling dividends out of HS Orca for years and years. In fact, I even would commit to the government to do that. We're not interested in doing this. Our interest is in being a long-term, great corporate citizen for Iceland.
Now, you've said that you don't want to fight anyone to invest here. You know the meeting probably held in Grindavik last night where about 100 people were protesting against your company's involvement in HS Orca. Same goes for many bloggers, even MPs. Now, you've said that you want to come here as a partner, be very cooperative and all that, but how do you intend to deal with that? Do you have any strategy?
Well, I wasn't at the meeting in Grindavik, so I can't comment too much on what was said.
Were you invited?
No, I wasn't invited, but I would have happily gone if I was invited. I think a lot of this is, as you said earlier, it's due to just general mistrust and general bad feeling about private enterprise and business and so on.
Privatization of resources.
Yeah, privatization, all of this. It's just, unfortunately, Iceland's had this dreadful experience. It's not alone in the world in that, but it had a dreadful experience last year and was badly dealt with by a lot of businessmen, I would say, and not such clever government at the time. That's a reality we have to deal with. But I also think if people are fair-minded, and if they meet me and if they hear what I'm hoping to do, this is not, as I said, a sort of a normal, evil foreigner coming to exploit Iceland's riches and strip them and take the money somewhere else. That's not what we're trying to do. If they understand why I'm here, what our intentions are for long-term benefit, trying to build a great world-class company that will use the skills of the Icelanders, the resources of Iceland, plus our resources, not only money, but also people, mission, strategy, external assets like our assets in Chile and the United States. And if they understand that as you build a larger company in geothermal energy, this maybe doesn't apply to every business, but as you build a larger company, you have much stronger ability to finance. Now, HS Orca, in order for it to finance its growth, it needs a strong financial condition. Geothermal energy is a very expensive capital cost up front. So the costs you're looking at to expand HS Orca to allow the energy infrastructure for the Helgavik smelter, for example, and other uses of electricity in Iceland, it's going to be $500 or $600 million. It's a lot of money. You need a strong entity to be able to finance that. And currently this condition of all these players are quite weak.
The numbers have been floating about the rent that HS Orca will be paying for renting the resources for those 65 years. That's Svartsengi Hafnir. How much will HS Orca pay per year in millions of ISK? Can you tell us that? Just to clear this out.
Yeah, I don't know I'm sorry, I don't know the exact number. We looked at the numbers, and of course this was all negotiated long before we became involved. But there are several different land agreements. There's one with Reykjanesbær, for example, which is, we looked at it. It was negotiated between Reykjanesbær and Geysir Green Energy and HS Orca, and it looked very fair to us.
How is the price compared to what you're paying in Nevada, for example, where you have a power plant there?
Every country is different. The reality is very different, the cost structure and so on. But the price here is much more expensive, I would say. But it's not as simple, as I say, it's not simple. For example, in Nevada, or anywhere in the U.S. where you're dealing with federal land, you have a perpetual right to exploit geothermal resources. And you pay very, very little. You pay a very small royalty. But the term is forever. You have 10 years for exploration, but if you produce within that period, you have a perpetual right. There's no deadline. You could go 1,000 years if you keep producing. And geothermal is something you can produce for a long time.
But do you think that that's also one thing that people are afraid of, that this will be exploitation, that actually there will be no more geothermal energy to produce in those 65 years' time?
I will be very clear on that point. We are in business to make this a sustainable industry. We are not interested in mining the heat coming out of the Canas Peninsula. The only way this works for me is if we can build a truly sustainable business for generations, many, many, many generations. Long after you and I are gone, that plant has to keep running.
What was your feeling when you got out of the meeting with our finance minister yesterday?
Well, you know, I do understand the difficult conditions of Iceland, and I understand the political world. I was here in January when there was this turmoil in the streets. I was staying at the Hotel Bork, and I could see this every night, the bonfires and the anger. And I mean, I understand this. I'm a student of politics and history, and I try to understand what is the dynamic of places I work. I wish I could learn Icelandic, actually. I'd love to, but it's a very difficult language for me. And so I would say I do understand these issues, and I hope we can find a resolution. I feel that we are the right kind of company for Iceland in this situation. I understand the minister is very, very sensitive about foreign involvement, control issues, privatization, all of these things. These are very understandable issues, and somehow we have to compromise on what we want to do here. For me, the best possible solution is to try to get 100% of this, because with 100%, and I don't mean
100% of HS Orka.
Sure, that's always the objective. If you put all of your energy, and if you build something with your time, you want to really have maximum interest so you can really have the maximum result from all that work and all that time and all that money.
And have you discussed that with Green Energy?
Of course, I think we've been honest all the way through. In this world today in Iceland, I think that's impossible. I mean, it's a reality, it's impossible. So somehow, if there's a solution here between what we hope to do with this business and what the government hopes to do, is we're going to have to find a kind of a middle ground. And that's what we're working on now. I cannot say we have reached that conclusion yet. We're still discussing this, but I have hope. And I honestly believe we are the right company for Iceland in this business, working in partnership with many other Icelandic interests.
But one thing, is this the only power plant that you're interested in, or are you interested in other fields?
No, really today it's what we are focusing on. It's really, you can't do everything, and we don't want to be too big a player in Iceland. It's a small country. We cannot be a huge player here. But this is a very good one for us. It absolutely fits us perfectly, not just, as I say, the resource, but also the people. We're trying to bring the people into our company and make us stronger as much as we can make them stronger. It's really an opportunity here for a win-win.
Thank you very much for being with us, Mr. Beattie.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.